Warning, this program you're about to watch is going to contain spoilers to a TV show that I don't like. So if you don't want to be spoiled with anything, click off immediately. Now, what I'm talking about is Last of Us Season 2. Now, I've had to go immediately take a shower, just really collect my thoughts after watching the last episode of The Last of Us. I mean, I was just left completely baffled by it. Now, I don't want to get into a rant or just be insinuary about it because I kind of knew the fact that season 2 was going to adapt The Last of Us Part 2, which for me, narratively and story-wise, is the most divisive out of probably compared to Last of Us Part 1 or Season 1. So I knew what I was going to expect myself from watching Last of Us Season 2, and I have to say I'm very disappointed with it. Now, my disappointment with this show, I do feel like it hasn't really come with much of a surprise, knowing how poorly received Last of Us Part 2, the video game, has been. And the fact that Last of Us Season 2 is adapting Last of Us Part 2, I think for some people they wouldn't have been very surprised with what they were offering. Now, I wanted to stick by this whole season just to kind of see what changes they would have made, because sometimes with a video game adaptation you would see some changes to the TV show or the movie versus the video game. Even if you look at Until Dawn, for example, that movie came out, there were changes how that was adapted from the video games, and even the changes I did appreciate it, because at least it was something different that was brought to as a movie format, that was different from the video game. It didn't follow a like-to-like story in any way, but they did have some things where they had certain characters and themes that do somewhat adapt to the video game in some way, but they did make changes from it from a story aspect or as a narrative perspective. Well, when it comes to Last of Us Season 2, and when it comes to HBO, they didn't make any changes from The Last of Us Part 2. What you watch from Last of Us Season 2 is exactly what you get from the video game. So yeah, now I'm going to talk about The Last of Us Season 2. Like I said earlier in the beginning of the video, this will contain spoilers because I need to highlight this to actually speak about this show. So if you don't want to be spoiled about this show, this is your warning. So Last of Us Season 2 takes place 5 years after the events of Season 1. So it happens when Joel rescues Ellie from the Fireflies base. That effectively Ellie was used to be as a subject, so the doctors and surgeons could just effectively get a cure, essentially, or a vaccine to heal the infected, essentially. So that's one twist. That's the one thing that happens in this show. So Joel rescues Ellie from the Firefly base. Joel kills all the members there, and now they have to form their bond and their relationship with each other that they have to reconcile, because then eventually Ellie kind of loses trust for Joel and feels Joel's being too overly protective of her. So there's that aspect of it. The other aspect of season 2 is also you have another character called Abby, and Abby wants revenge for Joel killing her father, who was one of the doctors and surgeons. So Abby wants to get revenge to kill Joel, but then also when Abby gets what she wants and eventually kills Joel, then Ellie wants to get revenge as Abby killed Joel. So there's also those two elements that come together. It's all this whole theme about wanting revenge. Now, I think you might want to agree or disagree about this, but I actually wouldn't mind if this was actually a season purely based on revenge. I wouldn't mind if this was the whole theme for The Last of Us Season 2 following from Season 1. But my biggest problem with Last of Us Season 2, like the video game, the whole execution when it comes to its whole narrative and story is so flawed in many aspects, because it doesn't give you time to give any time for any development for any of the characters. Even the beginning, even when you're introduced to Abby, you're not exactly can't draw the picture of how her character comes about. Everything just feels like she's this sort of cartoonish angry character that's just wants to seek revenge because she wants to. I mean, obviously we know why, because like Joel killed her father, but there's no sense of that sort of understanding that obviously Joel had to kill her father because Joel wanted to rescue Ellie. And obviously, like, Joel's decision had consequences for it. So I understand, like, everything that kind of would have worked for it if they gave the time to actually flesh out the story well. My biggest problem is like Joel gets killed off immediately without really understanding the whole theme, like how that all develops and how it all comes together. So you're kind of just like rushed into this whole thing that Ellie's now just pursuing revenge to, find Abby for her to kill. So, and the other aspect is you're also introduced to a lot of other characters in the show that I really feel like aren't developed at all. So, and one another character that's very prominent in season 2 is Dina. Dina's also another character that falls in love with Ellie, and they form a relationship with each other. But then the thing with Dina, you don't really seem to like understand Dina's character at all, and the whole relationship that she falls for with Ellie just seems so abrupt and so like quick that there isn't really like so much of a connection with each other. So it doesn't make you feel like you really care for Dina that much. Like even when you understand like Joel's relationship with Ellie, like they had to try and work together to try and survive from an apocalyptic America, you understand that because the whole development was there. But then all of a sudden, Dina and Ellie just fall in love with each other without any development structure at all. It just falls completely flat. So I really feel like everything is just based on a developmental aspect. And then also another one as well, there's another character that gets introduced is also Jesse. Jesse's also another new character, and he used to be the previous love interest for Dina, and actually he's the one that impregnates Dina as well. So she gets pregnant when she had a previous relationship with Jesse, and then all of a sudden now there's also like this love triangle that Dina now falls in love with Ellie. So it's like all this sort of stuff just happens, is just like comes out of nowhere, and I will also arguably say it doesn't add anything. It feels like it's just there just to serve no point. And if they really like put like more understanding of like say Jesse or Dina's character a bit more and flesh them out, and also kind of maybe put some understanding about how Dina and Ellie like had fallen in love with each other for their love story, maybe they would have made more sense. But the trouble is nothing about the show really fleshes itself out very well. Now, speaking about other things as well, let me kind of speak on a very few positives, because I mean there are like some positives I can take from it. I do like the action in this show, like season 1, it kind of follows the action from season 2, and there are like some, well, I mean, I don't know if there was really much moments from season 2, but like one of really good moment from season 2, like from the beginning, in the Jackson, Wyoming base, where Tommy is effectively trying to defend the base with this horde of infected coming in. Like that was like a very well choreographed scene. It kind of felt like I was like watching Game of Thrones like many years ago, like the way everything was just fleshed out there with just a bunch of carnage and action being at the forefront. So I really do think there are like some positives I can take from it, but it's very far and few, to be honest with you. Like genuinely this show has many problems. Now I really feel like this show does highlight its problems. Like if you really look at like how this has been received, season 2 has not been received very well, and it's been so far getting quite poor reception from the audience. Now if you really like to compare this to how season 1 has received, well, it draws a very big picture, like the difference in contrast with each other. So yeah, I mean overall disappointed with season 2. Like they are gonna renew this for season 3. I don't know whether I will continue watching it or not. I think maybe time will tell, or maybe how much I would have healed myself from watching season 2 to see Whether or not maybe things could be adapted to be better or not from the show. Who knows? But yeah, that's pretty much about it. Let me know what you think about The Last of Us Season 2. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe, dislike if you want to dislike. Thank you for watching. And yeah, that's about it. See you later.